Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talked about a team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. So we're kind of pushing through the middle of this season, right? And we're kind of caught in the middle. It seems like in the beginning of the year, we were trying our best to put the players out there who are proven players and things like that, just because we wanted to win games and we wanted to see how far we could push this team. Now we're transitioning into playing the younger players and kind of living and working through their mistakes and living with the ups and downs of playing young players. And then we have a lot more injuries happening, and we're going to see some of the lack of depth in the roster shine through, especially on the offensive line. But we can also see some of the young guys play. There's Caleb Rogers in there. There's Charles Grant. There's Laki Tassi. Who knows? There's a lot of young guys that are on this team that are should be fighting for playing time, especially on the offensive line. So we're in this transition period right now. And I think this is the true sense. This is the true iteration of this team. I don't know that we had any business trying to win this year with the players that we had, with the roster we had to build and things like that. And it showed a lot in the fact that we had so much cap space left over that we didn't spend. And then we used the bulk of that cap space on Geno Smith, basically making his contract a 1-year deal that we can get out of next year. There's a lot of things that are being said about this team, and a lot of things that are being said about the coaching staff and Geno Smith, and a lot of that stuff has been said by me. You guys have to understand something. A lot of times when I say things or when I title videos a certain way, it's to get the juices flowing, to get you guys thinking. There's a lot going wrong with this team. A lot going wrong with this team. The roster is one. The lack of continuity, basically, like I said, within who do we want to be, the lack of identity. What's our identity offensively? What's our identity as a team? What's our identity as a front office? A lot of these things are in flux right now, but it seems to be heading in one specific direction. Hopefully. It seems like it's going that way. One of the big telling signs is how much these players still do care, even though they're 2-7, even though they're well out of the playoffs, even though they're getting their asses kicked in some games, but then heartbreaking defeats in others. They still care, and there's still a lot of belief in each other. And I'm going to show a couple of videos just to show that. And that shows one thing. The coaching staff has not lost this team. There's a couple things we're going to hear about, some differences and maybe some things that I've talked about in the past, maybe some things that I haven't. But for right now, I want to listen to Vinny Balsignor. He's one of the writers for the Las Vegas Review Journal. Easy for me to say, the Las Vegas Review Journal, and he covers the Raiders. Listen to what he had to say about the locker room and Dante Thornton Jr. after the game in Denver.
You mentioned the special teams, and no doubt, I mean, the normally reliable Daniel Carlson, a block punt, you can't have that. But, I mean, there were rookie mistakes last night that just cost the Raiders big time. Jack Besh, Dante Thornton, even a little bit of Ashton Genty. We could get into how that pass needed to be better by Geno Smith that bounced off his hands or whatever shoulder pad and ended up an interception. But the fact of the matter is, when you play young kids, you're going to sometimes have to live and deal with the consequences, and the Raiders dealt with some severe consequences last night. I understand that Daniel Carlson has to kick that field goal. There's no question about it. You can't have a block punt. But there were 11 penalties last night, and two of them really cost the Raiders. A big run by Ashton Genty and a touchdown by Trey Tucker. And then also Dante Thornton missing a catch that he needs to come up with, quite, plain and simple. And a teary-eyed, and I'm talking about, he was crying in the locker room last night. So for anyone that wants to come at, Dante Thornton and say what you want, you need to be in the locker room and understand how much that killed Dante Thornton to his heart. The mistakes that he made last night. He was balling in the locker room of how much that really tore him apart. But the bottom line is, you want to play young players, and I fully agree with that. You're sometimes going to have to live with the consequences of that. And the Raiders had some young players last night that made some critical mistakes that cost them a football game.
So nothing that we don't already know as far as young players and making mistakes, and the young players' mistakes cost them the football game. But it wasn't all the young players. He said Daniel Carlson's got to make those kicks. Okay, he's got to make that kick at the end. Sure does. We have to block better on special teams. We sure do. But ultimately, this is what we get when we get caught in the middle. We don't have an identity. You don't play young players early in the season, and you're trying to win games, and you don't have the confidence in the young players yet. So you don't give them a lot of snaps. You don't give them a lot of time to really play. And you're really kind of finding out your own roster. Because of that, you're going to get caught in the middle. And Pete Carroll's been caught in the middle wherever he started. He was caught in the middle at USC. Lucky for him, he had Carson Palmer, Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. He was able to build through the years there. And then he gets to Seattle, and he gives a lot of money to a quarterback that really doesn't play for him. And then he ends up, throwing a rookie in there, and he ends up flourishing. So this is the part of football that's extremely difficult for a lot of people to understand. There has to be a low point, but you have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing through. Think of it like you're in a desert, okay, and you're moving in a direction. Like you're in the very middle of this desert, okay. There's nothing for an equal amount of miles around you. Okay. And if you just keep pushing in the same direction, eventually you'll get out of there. Right. But if you keep changing directions, you're kind of just walking around in circles, and you're not really going anywhere. You're not really getting anywhere. You're still stuck in the middle of that desert. And you could see an oasis or a mirage or something like, oh, wow, this is, but you get there and it's not really that. And that's where we are right now. We really have to pick a direction and move forward. Now, I will say this. I'm not absolving this coaching staff of what's happening, because the coaching staff has as much as anybody to fault over the lack of direction from the very beginning. Had we had more of an emphasis on getting the young players to play early, we would have had a lot more balanced roster right now. Right now, the roster is really not that balanced, because we have some veterans and we have a lot of young guys. Then we have a lot of vets on one-year deals, and we have a lot of some undrafted free agents and rookies that just don't have a lot of experience. So it's like a really unbalanced type of roster, and the injuries don't help, but the mistakes are magnified when you're a rudderless team. You're just kind of floating along. And I've used this analogy before. You have to right the ship. You've been in a storm for a long time. You have to right the ship and pick a direction. Same thing as if we're in the middle of that desert. Just think about it. You're walking for 5 days in a direction, and then someone tells you, know what, let's go this way. And you start walking in 5. Well, you're closer if you would have just kept going. Now you change directions, and you're basically starting over. Then you change another direction. You're going back the opposite way, and you're undoing all the progress that you've done, and then you have to go back. It's a tough situation to be in. I understand it. I get it. I'm in it too, guys. I'm not just a content creator. Okay, I don't just sit here and just make videos because I feel like it. No, I'm a part of Raider Nation. I've been part of Raider Nation for 40 years. Okay, I'm 48 years old right now, and I've been part of Raider Nation for 40 years, since I was 8 years old in 1985. That's how long I've been a part of it. And I know a lot of you have been a part of Raider Nation for a lot longer, and it's not a contest. All I'm saying is, this is who I am. This is who I am. For anyone who you ask, they'll tell you about me. I'm personal. I'm easygoing. I'm a nice guy. I like the fight game, and I love the Raiders. That'll tell you. They'll tell you a bunch of stuff. Oh, and USC and the Dodgers too. But this is who I am. So I'm not telling you this to like scold you or to tell you, you guys are wrong or anything like that. Not at all. What I'm saying is, there's a direction we have to pick, and we have to keep going forward. Now, the videos I made the last few days were to bring up some discussion. What's happening? What's different? What's been happening in the past, and what needs to change moving forward? With Pete Carroll, there's a big change, especially on defense. Now, I want to play a video of Caillou Blue Kelly and some things that he said. Really pay attention to what he said about the game plan, about who implemented it, and who is the one to credit for the great game plan against the Denver Broncos on Thursday night. Listen to Coyote Blue Kelly.
Definitely. I mean, it's been a tough season, as you guys know, but at the same time, we just want to win, and that's a very close one against a divisional rival. And all we're going to do is keep going and keep working and have these days off, get guys healthy, and make sure we can come back and ready to go because we're not giving up on the season. No chance we ever will. Honestly, I give credit to PG and my players around me. I mean, Tyree came up to me and he almost got the sack on Bo on that deep one. He was able to rush the throw, and I was in position to make a play. And then the other one, Lonnie and Chin were just in the window and made it a tough catch for the receiver, and I was just there to make a play. I mean, PG schemed this up so well, and the players around me played really great, so it just allowed me to make plays as the players. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of mental. On a short week, you don't really have that much time for the physical. We just played Sunday, and, Thursday comes in a flash. So we just dove into the scheme. And like I said, PG, really, he doctored us up, man. I mean, we really know what Sean Payton and Bo Nix were going to do, and we were able to go out there and showcase that. I mean, it's sound football when you hold any NFL team to 10 points. Like I said, guys stepped up and guys made plays when they needed to, and you just didn't come out with the win. But we're going to go from here, build off of what we just did today, and just build off that for the rest of the season. Yeah, I'm a day-to-day guy. I take everything by one step at a time. I don't look into the future. I stay in the present. And right now it's just getting ready for next game I have, and just every single day. And Coach Pete does a great job structuring weeks. We're competing our balls off on Wednesday, forcing turnovers on Thursday, and making sure we're ready to go Friday and having everything ready by Saturday. But yeah. I mean, Coach Pete said it best, treat this like a playoff game, like a divisional playoff game, and he got our minds ready to go. I mean, defense was flying around. That was the main thing, is run and hit. PG said it all week. What we're going to do is run and hit these guys, and that's exactly what we did.
All right, so a few things there. PG came up with the game plan. I think we all figured that out, that it was a lot different defense that was playing in this game than we played in the past. Was it because Lonnie Johnson came back and was able to play a little bit more deeper safety and were able to do that? Who knows? I don't think he played a ton of snaps. He played a good amount, but not the whole game. But this is a stark difference from hands-on Pete Carroll on defense as opposed to hands-off Pete Carroll in this game and letting PG do his thing. This is a part of the learning process. This is part of the process where, you know what? I'm going to let not only my young players play, I'm going to let my coaches coach, do their thing, see what I have with these guys. Because, I understand it. You're coming in there. You're a guy that when you were in Seattle, you had a lot of control over pretty much everything, right? And as far as Pete Carroll goes, you go ahead and you start with the Raiders and you want to win, right? So what do? You have control over everything. Well, now you got to take a step back and say, look, we're playing young players anyway. Let's see what PG really has and what his defense can do. I get it. It's maybe not, in hindsight, wasn't the best thing to do, but I understand why, if indeed it did happen, why it did happen. Now we're looking at Pete Carroll being a little bit more hands-off. But what did Coyote Blue Kelly say? Pete Carroll had our minds right, had us ready to play, had our mentals ready, had our mindset ready to go. When you're looking at a Pete Carroll type of coach, he's really good in-game. He's not going to make in-game mistakes or anything like that, right? He's going to call a good game, but he gets the players ready to go. He gets them mentally ready to play. That's a big task for any coach out there. So if Pete Carroll can just do that and be kind of like that CEO style and make sure that the coaches are doing what they have to do, that's going to be, I think, the best role for Pete, and to pull away from being so big a part of the game plan. Now, let's take a listen to what Kurt Morrison had to say about what's going on with the team in general. There's a couple of things we talked about as far as we're going to hear about Brock Bowers getting the ball and defensives and offensively, what we should do differently and things like that. But really listen to what Kurt Morrison has to say towards the end. It's a little bit of a longer clip, but I think it's a lot of good information from Kurt Morrison, who's in with the team, travels with them, broadcasts with them, and he's around the team a lot. He's a part of winners too. So listen to what he has to say on the same post-game show. Listen to this.
Yeah, I think you hit on everything. It's really about what they do. It's the self-inflicted wounds of this football team that hurt them throughout what I thought the first half. They had a chance to really grasp this football game, and they honestly just couldn't do it. It was opportunities that were there, and a lot of them were from their youngest players. I mean, the rookies today, 7 of them were active of this year's 2025 rookie class, and they all kind of had a hand in some of those self-inflicted wounds, whether it was Jack Besh with a holding call on a 32-yard Ashton Genty run, or there's a wide-open Dante Thornton right before the half who drops what could have been a huge gain right before the halftime. And then, the guy who we just talked about, Ashton Genty, and the yards that he had on the ground, dropped what could have been a big play receiving, and it pops in the air and it turns into an interception. So you had a lot that went wrong for you, but a lot of it was because of the self-inflicted wounds. And the guys who you want to count on the most have to be there. Daniel Carlson has to make those field goals in that opportunity as well. That's a field goal that needs to be made. They also got a block on punt team. So there is a myriad of mistakes that we can talk about in this game where they stood toe-to-toe with the division leader in the AFC West, and it came down to an opportunity to tie this football game or even go ahead with the lead, and they just couldn't get it done.
My brother, what's going on? Hey, quick question.
I'm good, man.
That's why I said it like that. I just want to see you smile, man. We got to smile in the midst of it. Have you had a chance to talk to Chip Kelly?
Little bit at times. We did share the elevator down to the hotel lobby this morning as we got ready to head over to the game. But I have not had a chance to talk to him. And if I had the chance, what should I ask him, JJ?
I know what you're gonna. That's all right, JJ. How does Brock Bowers have no targets in the second half? That's all I need in the elevator. Give me 3 seconds with it.
Well, that was what I knew going into this game. I was on Denver Broncos radio earlier today, and everybody was saying, whoa, Brock Bowers this, Brock Bowers this. And I said, well, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm playing the Raiders, I'm eliminating Brock Bowers. He's number 89. On Wednesday when you have your install meeting, we cannot let number 89, you're circling, he cannot beat us. If we have to double, triple, quadruple team, he's going to have to go through some chip, everything. Our focus has to be on number 89, and that's what I talked about today before the game. It's going to be 89, 2, and then who? Meaning who was going to be that third guy, that third player offensively that the Raiders could rely on as a go-to player. And we really couldn't find that consistency. I realized, look, that defense in Denver, those dudes can get after it. Like, that's one of the top-ranked defenses in all of the NFL. I'm not surprised that Brock Bowers didn't get the football a ton today because their object was to get Geno off the spot. We were down our left tackle, Colton Miller. Dylan Parham was banged up, and Jackson Powers-Johnson. We couldn't protect, so I knew it was going to be difficult to get the ball to Brock Bowers. At some point, you just got to say, can someone else step up in this opportunity? And our young players, Jack Besh, Dante Thornton, didn't do that today. Yeah, I think you just try to find the creativity, but again, I'll point to this offensive line that obviously, look, Nick Bonito had another sack today. I mean, their defensive front, Talanoa Ufunga, you name it, they had guys who were just pushing the pocket, and Geno didn't have the time. There were times where I thought he can get the ball down the field, but right before he was about to throw it, he got the sack. When he had the protection, what did he do? He found Brock Bowers on that crossing route, and they got deep into Denver Broncos territory. But are you going to get him the short stuff? Or how would you get him the football? I mean, they tried to hand the ball off to him, and he got knocked in the backfield. So I give Chip Kelly, I mean, you can try to say, hey, you want him to run these types of plays, but he tried to get the ball to Brock Bowers. I just thought that the Denver Broncos, look, I tip my cap to them. Sometimes the defense is just better than you on that day, and they had a great game plan to corral Brock Bowers. Yeah, and to me, I thought that was very telling. Why not? Geno Smith was hampered, and to not go to at least Kenny Pickett at some point. At least I thought Kenny Pickett had an opportunity to try to use his legs a little bit, get out there on the perimeter. I don't think bringing back AOC right away, coming off of a mini bye. Geno's the quarterback. You can't go down with him, and I don't think it's at that point yet. Geno's the quarterback. You came in and you started the season. I don't think bringing back AOC right away, coming off of a mini bye. Geno's the quarterback. You came in and you started the season. You extended him. You traded for him. You kind of have to go down with him. And I don't think it's at that point yet where you go to someone else, because we can cop out and say, oh, let's switch it up with the quarterback. But the quarterback's not over there blocking on punt team. Quarterback's not missing field goals. Offensive line is not getting hurt. Right? Or on punt team, you got guys running out of bounds and then trying to go make the play. That's a penalty. So when I look at the myriad of mistakes, I put Geno Smith way down on that list of what the other things that the Raiders have to work on before they head into that game against the Cowboys.
Well, pretty blunt and straightforward by Kurt Morrison, and it's a lot that a lot of us, including myself, needed to hear. There's a lot going wrong with this team, a lot. And not at the top of that list is Geno Smith. Do we understand a few things? Starting from the beginning. We didn't have a number one wide receiver. Now, we had Brock Bowers, but again, you're leaving yourself with Brock Bowers, Ashton Jeanty, who was an unproven rookie in the beginning of the year, and who else? Who else is out there? Now, you talk about Jacoby Myers, and yeah, he was a 1,000-yard receiver last season, and yeah, that's great, but he wasn't the same Jacoby Myers. He wasn't the same guy that he was in previous seasons. So, again, you walk into this game, and you're like, okay, you got Brock Bowers, you got number two, and who? Who else? Who's going to be that third guy? It's a lot to ask for these young guys to step up when they haven't been asked to do pretty much anything other than just be a decoy and run routes. They haven't been asked to make any plays, really. So you're looking at the learning curve that we're going through. It's a learning curve that's going to be pretty steep because these guys, they're going to be in there right away. They're not going to have a lot of time to kind of make a lot of mistakes. They're going to have to learn. Now, there's a couple of things that I don't agree with. I don't agree with Pete Carroll saying, pretty blunt and upfront, like, yeah, if they keep making the same mistakes, they're not going to be here. Well, you made quite a few mistakes yourself. And I understand that you're starting to rectify those mistakes, but ultimately, Pete Carroll is going to go down in the same ship with Geno Smith. Pete Carroll and Geno Smith are going to go down together. If they do go down, it's going to be 1 and 2, hand in hand, down with the ship. Because Pete Carroll banged the table for Geno Smith to be the guy. That's why they went and got him. That's why they went and paid him. So that's the dude that they want. So that's the dude that Pete Carroll's like, this is my guy. So, yeah, I do get why he put Geno Smith back in there and why he doesn't have a lot of confidence in Kenny Pickett. Ultimately, that's the way it's going to have to be for right now. But we're seeing some changes, and we're seeing some good still in this locker room. There's no quit in this locker room. This locker room really does care about winning, not about themselves looking good or whatever. They're talking about winning and looking good for this entire team, for each other. That's something that needs to be a building block of winning teams. And if you're building that right now, because that wasn't always the case. There was some guys that were kind of, flippity, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And they got rid of one of them in Jermaine Pratt. But you're looking at these guys that are pulling together and playing for one another. That's a huge start. Now you start getting these rookies to get some more experience, and they're going to be getting better and better as the year goes on. Now, this year is done for us. We're not going to the playoffs. We're not doing anything. We're just going to play our season, and that's that. But the building blocks that we build now are going to be that foundation for this team to go forward. Is it going to be with Pete Carroll? Is it not going to be with Pete Carroll? I would say 50-50, okay? But if Pete Carroll wants to come back next season and continue that ramp, that uptick going forward, I can see where that can definitely happen. And if it does start to happen, he may even get that third year. As for Geno Smith, I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure that I'm not saying it's all his fault, but he has had some difficult play, okay? He has some rough play. And if he's a guy that we can move forward with, I can see us bringing him back next season. I doubt it, though. I think that we're going to really move on with a young quarterback in the draft and go forward from there. What we can't have is another retread that we get in here, just another guy bouncing around, veteran, this and that. We got to pick a direction, and the easiest way and the quickest way to galvanize the entire team on a direction is to get a quarterback in the draft and hang that franchise name on him that he's going to be the guy moving forward. Is it going to be with Pete? Is it going to be with someone else? We don't know that yet, but what we do know is Pete Carroll's taking a step back. He's learning from his mistakes. He's letting PG handle the defense. He's playing the younger guys. And, he's evolving. He's changing, which is good, and this team is still fighting really hard to the very end. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. It's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel, besides doing nothing, just watch the video. On top of that, we have the Show Society. Show Society is great, man. It's $5 a month to membership. If you want to support, that'd be great. I appreciate it. Go ahead and do it. If not, if you don't want to, or that's fine, I'm still giving you a video every single day. All that, and all I ask in return is you tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody Raiders versus the world is the greatest to go in Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.